So this kind of comes up with one of the messages that I got out of my little book here this morning when I was sitting here reading. And I flipped to this little story. It says untouched virtue. It says, thus the most beautiful virtue remains when harmed by ills, as the laurel is unharmed by dire lightning. It says the laurel is a symbol of protection and safety. So among the ancients, it was sown near temples or attached to them to guard them. They also believed that the tree could not be harmed by lightning. Hence, the Roman Emperor Tiberius, afraid of storms and lightning, used to place a laurel wreath on his head when the sky was brooding. In the same way, virtue, whose praise lies in its exercise, is to be preferred to all other commodities. It defends itself from not only all vices, but all adversity, is always unharmed and remains whole. So in Horace's Odes, virtue, ignorant of sordid retreat, shines with uncontaminated honors and does not take up or put down the axe according to the judgment of people's wind. As unharmed laurel tree with lightning shooting down around it signifies good character, the laurel is a symbol of victory, peace, divination, and secret knowledge. Those worthy of honor, especially poets, wear a wreath of laurel leaves on their head. This is the origin of the term poet laureate. To be crowned with a circle of laurel leaves is a reward for an achievement that represents a series of victories over adversity and problems, since there is no achievement without struggle. And it kind of takes me back to the reading that I posted last night or this morning or whenever it was with the underworld. And the message that came through was it's like a time of being surrounded by darkness, but not being consumed by it, right? That we can be in these places in life where there's just toxicity everywhere. There's, chaos, there's deceit, we see it everywhere. Just turn on a regular television. If it's not on the news, it's in a movie, right? And if it's not on TV somewhere, I'm sure that somebody has made, there's thousands of shorts and TikToks, of all the toxicity and all the, just the crazy darkness that has kind of been swirling around us all. But so many of us have not been consumed by it. We've not allowed it to become us, right? And that is our character. That is a virtue, to be in that place of darkness and not be consumed by it and still choose a path of light, a path of love, a path of growth, right? And that seems to be a pretty big message, but it's come through since I made that decision to leave the server. Well, I sat one night and I'm like, what is this server? What, because I kind of stay in my own lane, like I only stayed in the TA channel pretty much. But when you look at the truther movement, or you look at people who are decoding the matrix, well, to show how broken the matrix is, you're in that, right? That's part of the discussion. That's part of the energy, right? And it's like I wasn't oblivious to it, but I really didn't pay attention to any of it. I'm not Even as a technical analyst, I don't watch YouTubers. I don't watch other analysts. I don't watch financials. I don't care what fundamentals are out there, what discussions, what narratives, and that was part of the discussion in the meeting yesterday was, all of the narratives that are going around to have that kind of energy and that spoken word. Now we're speaking things right now. And what do we know about manifestation? Part of that is to speak, right? That which we want to manifest. So there's a lot of people out there with a lot of narratives, a lot of voices, speaking a lot of things, right? And to be surrounded by that and to not be consumed by it, or not own it, to not allow it to become part of your existence, your reality. Spirit saying that is a virtue. And it's not just for me being in a server, right? It's about all of us. I mean, when we take a moment and we look at all the toxicity, right, that is just swirling through the airwaves, it's all around us. It's in our neighborhoods, it's in our towns, our cities, the countryside. I mean, from one side of the globe to the next, right? So, any of us who continue to really pursue this inward journey and be the best version of ourselves that we can be, that is the character we're developing. We're like that laurel tree, right? We're impervious to the thunder and the lightning and the clouds of doom that hover over the skies, right? It's not that we don't feel it, but we're conscious. And we go through these phases where it's like, okay, now it's time to purge that energy. Now it's time to clean that energy out of my home, out of my heart, out of my life, out of my mind, whatever way it is. We've been open to doing that, right? When so many are not, they just grab on to every narrative that swings by, and they're on these emotional roller coasters. There's no center, there's no balance, there's no anchor point for them. And so I feel like Spirit's really coming in and wanting us to recognize the character that we have developed, right? We have obviously overcome some very large obstacles that, had they come to others, they may not have made it through so well, right? So it's really like a time of Spirit recognizing us and wanting us to recognize that within ourselves.